India, a land of ancient civilizations and profound wisdom, endured centuries of foreign domination. This vast subcontinent, with its rich tapestry of cultures, languages and traditions, has always been a coveted jewel for invaders. The allure of its wealth, both material and spiritual, drew many to its shores. From the early 16th century, waves of conquerors arrived, each leaving an indelible mark on the subcontinent's destiny. The Mughals, with their formidable armies and strategic acumen, were among the most influential. They brought with them not just conquest, but also a fusion of Persian, Central Asian and Indian cultures. The Mughal Empire, with its grandeur and cultural fusion, held sway for centuries. Their architectural marvels, like the Taj Mahal, stand as testaments to their legacy. Emperors like Akbar the Great promoted a syncretic culture, blending diverse traditions and fostering an era of relative peace and prosperity. Yet their rule eventually paved the way for the British East India Company, who, through cunning manipulation and military might, established the British Raj. The British, initially traders, soon turned into rulers, exploiting India's internal divisions and using advanced weaponry to subjugate vast territories. For almost 2 centuries, India's resources were plundered, its people subjected to discriminatory policies and its spirit stifled under colonial rule. The British imposed heavy taxes, leading to widespread poverty and famines. They dismantled traditional industries, replacing them with their own manufactured goods, further crippling the local economy. This period left deep scars on the Indian psyche, a collective memory of exploitation and the denial of dignity. The famines, often exacerbated by British policies, claimed millions of lives. The social fabric of India was torn apart, with communities pitted against each other under the divide and rule strategy. It was against this backdrop of subjugation that the flames of freedom began to flicker. The early 20th century saw the rise of a new generation of leaders, inspired by global movements for self-determination and justice. They rallied the masses, igniting a fervor for independence that spread like wildfire. The struggle for independence was not merely a political movement, it was a cultural renaissance. It was a time when Indians began to reclaim their heritage, celebrating their festivals, arts and traditions with renewed vigor. This cultural revival was a powerful assertion of their identity and a rejection of colonial narratives. It was a reassertion of India's identity, its ancient heritage, and its rightful place on the world stage. Scholars and intellectuals played a crucial role, delving into India's past to unearth its glorious history and inspire the present generation. They wrote extensively, countering colonial propaganda and instilling pride in India's achievements. Leaders like Mahatma Gandhi emerged, guiding the nation with unwavering resolve and the powerful weapon of non-violent resistance. Gandhi's philosophy of satyagraha, or truth force, mobilized millions. His iconic Salt March and numerous other protests demonstrated the strength of peaceful resistance against oppressive regimes. The sacrifices of countless Indians who dared to dream of a free India finally bore fruit on that momentous day in 1947. The journey to independence was fraught with challenges, but the collective will of the people triumphed. The celebrations on August 15, 1947, were a testament to their resilience and determination. The long night of foreign rule had ended, and a new dawn had broken over the horizon. As the Indian flag was hoisted, it symbolized not just political freedom, but the rebirth of a nation. The spirit of India, long suppressed, was now free to soar, heralding a new era of hope, progress, and unity. The Mughal Empire, established in the early 16th century, was a formidable force that reshaped the Indian subcontinent. Founded by Babur, a descendant of Timur and Genghis Khan, the empire quickly expanded its territories through a series of military campaigns. Babur's vision was not just to conquer, but to create a lasting legacy, and this vision was carried forward by his successors. The Mughals left an enduring legacy on India, one that is still visible today in the country's architecture, culture, and social fabric. Their influence extended beyond mere governance. They brought with them a rich tapestry of Persian culture, which they seamlessly wove into the existing Indian traditions. From their capital in Delhi, Mughal emperors like Akbar, Jahangir, and Shah Jahan presided over a period of relative peace and prosperity. Akbar, known for his administrative genius and efforts to foster religious tolerance, laid the foundation for a stable and prosperous empire. Jahangir continued his father's policies, while Shah Jahan is best remembered for his architectural contributions, including the iconic Taj Mahal. They patronized art, architecture, and literature, leading to a remarkable fusion of Persian and Indian cultures. This cultural amalgamation is evident in the intricate designs of Mughal miniature paintings and the grandiose structures that blend Indian and Persian architectural styles. The Mughal era was a golden age for artists, poets, and scholars who found patronage and encouragement in the royal courts. The Mughal courts became centers of intellectual discourse, attracting scholars, poets, and artists from across the empire. These courts were not just places of political power, but also hubs of cultural and intellectual activity. Scholars translated works from Persian to Sanskrit and vice versa, enriching the literary traditions of both cultures. The Taj Mahal, a timeless testament to Mughal architectural genius, stands as a poignant reminder of this era. Built by Shah Jahan in memory of his beloved wife, Mumtaz Mahal, the monument is a symbol of love and an architectural marvel that attracts millions of visitors from around the world each year. However, the Mughal era was not without its shadows. The empire's expansion was often marked by brutal military campaigns and the subjugation of local rulers. These conquests, while expanding the empire's territory, also sowed the seeds of discontent among the local populations. The empire was built on military conquest and the subjugation of local rulers. The Mughal military machine was formidable, employing advanced tactics and weaponry of the time. Yet this reliance on military might also meant that the empire was in a constant state of warfare, which drained its resources and strained its administrative capabilities. Religious tensions, particularly between Hindus and Muslims, simmered beneath the surface. While emperors like Akbar made significant efforts to promote religious harmony through policies like sul-i-kul or universal peace, these efforts were not always successful. The underlying religious and cultural differences often led to conflicts and rebellions. The Mughal emperors, though known for their tolerance, sometimes resorted to discriminatory policies against non-Muslims. For instance, the imposition of the jizya tax on non-Muslims was a point of contention. Despite these challenges, the Mughal period saw a remarkable degree of cultural and religious intermingling, which has left a lasting impact on Indian society. By the 18th century, the Mughal Empire began to decline, weakened by internal strife and the rise of regional powers. The later Mughal rulers were unable to maintain the same level of control and authority as their predecessors. This period saw the emergence of powerful regional kingdoms that challenged Mughal supremacy. This power vacuum created an opportunity for European trading companies, particularly the British East India Company, to establish a foothold in India. The British, with their superior naval power and strategic acumen, gradually expanded their influence, eventually leading to the colonization of India. The decline of the Mughal Empire thus set the stage for a new chapter in Indian history, one that would be marked by colonial rule and the struggle for independence. The arrival of the British East India Company marked a significant turning point in Indian history. This was not just a simple entry of a trading entity, but the beginning of a profound transformation that would reshape the subcontinent's destiny. The British East India Company, initially a commercial venture, gradually morphed into a powerful political force, exploiting the rich resources and the intricate political landscape of India. Initially focused on trade, the company gradually expanded its influence, exploiting the political fragmentation and exploiting the resources of the subcontinent. They established trading posts and formed alliances with local rulers, often playing one against the other to strengthen their own position. The company's officials were shrewd and strategic, understanding that control over trade routes and local economies would eventually translate into political power. The Battle of Plassey in 1757 proved decisive, establishing British military supremacy and paving the way for the establishment of the British Raj. This battle was not just a military engagement, but a turning point that marked the beginning of British dominance in India. The victory at Plassey allowed the British to exert control over Bengal, one of the richest provinces, and set the stage for further expansion. The British administration, driven by colonial ambitions, implemented policies designed to maximize revenue extraction and secure their control over India. They introduced land revenue systems like the permanent settlement, which placed heavy burdens on Indian peasants and landlords alike. The British also restructured the legal and administrative systems to serve their interests, ensuring that the colonial machinery operated smoothly to benefit the empire. This systematic exploitation led to the impoverishment of millions and the destruction of traditional industries. Indian artisans and craftsmen, who had once been the backbone of the economy, found themselves unable to compete with British manufactured goods. The deindustrialization of India was a direct consequence of British policies that favored the import of British products while stifling local industries. However, British rule also sowed the seeds of its own demise. The very systems they put in place to control and exploit India began to foster a sense of unity and resistance among the Indian populace. The introduction of railways, telegraphs, and a unified legal system inadvertently connected people across the vast subcontinent, facilitating the spread of nationalist ideas. The introduction of English education, though intended to create a class of Indians loyal to the crown, inadvertently fostered nationalist sentiments. Educated Indians began to question the legitimacy of British rule and sought to apply the principles of justice and equality they had learned. Schools and universities became hotbeds of political thought and discussion where the seeds of resistance were sown. Exposure to Western ideas of democracy, liberty, and self-determination ignited a desire for freedom among educated Indians. They were inspired by the American and French revolutions and began to dream of an independent India where they could determine their own destiny. Indian reformers and intellectuals started to engage in debates and discussions, laying the groundwork for a broader nationalist movement. The Indian National Congress, founded in 1885, became the platform for articulating these aspirations. Leaders like Dadabhai Naoroji, Gopal Krishna Gokhale, and others began to voice the collective grievances of the Indian people. They demanded greater representation and autonomy, setting the stage for a more organized and sustained struggle against British rule. And Bal Gangadhar Tilak emerged, demanding greater autonomy and advocating for India's rights. These leaders were instrumental in mobilizing the masses and spreading the message of self-rule. Their speeches and writings inspired a generation of Indians to join the fight for independence, making it a truly national movement. The stage was set for a long and arduous struggle for independence. The seeds of resistance had been sown, and the Indian people were ready to embark on a journey that would eventually lead to the end of British colonial rule. The struggle for independence would be marked by numerous sacrifices, but it was a testament to the resilience and determination of the Indian people. The dawn of August 15, 1947, marked a watershed moment in Indian history. After centuries of foreign rule, India finally achieved its long-cherished dream of independence. The joy of liberation, however, was overshadowed by the pain of partition. The division of the subcontinent into India and Pakistan led to one of the largest mass migrations in human history, accompanied by widespread violence and bloodshed. The scars of partition continue to haunt the subcontinent to this day, despite the challenges of partition and the legacy of colonial exploitation. India embarked on its journey as an independent nation with remarkable resilience. The task ahead was daunting. The newly formed government, led by Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru, inherited a country grappling with poverty, illiteracy, and social divisions. Yet there was a palpable sense of optimism and a shared belief in the promise of a brighter future.